now. Here, issuing a noise of confused, I watched Asahi reach into what remains of her own clothing. A moment later, she pulled forth a crystal block that burned with its own inner light. This is a farsight crystal. You can use it to see and hear everything that happens below, as if we were dead ourselves. And since you're here, you might as well see it for yourself, what we're facing, and what will happen to us if we can't stop the underworlders. I was about to ask exactly how this crystal worked, but before I could get another word out, the light shining from within the far crystal flashed brilliantly, sending up little sparkles that gathered together in mid-air before resolving into a good-sized orb. And within the orb, I found myself to be able to see clearly the atrocities that were going down below if I was down there among the ravaging darklings. Maybe we should get moving, get away from here before anyone. Well, we are in no danger. The flow of the underworld won't be able to reach us here. Once it's unleashed, we're outside the village range of influence. As I pondered this word and tried to make sense of them, a tear fell down from one of Asahi's gentle eyes. Besides, as long as you're trapped in this world, you are in much danger from this war as any native of Burokku. And learning about the underworlders and their powers could be one thing that keeps you alive. I was seriously considering debating that idea, but before I could say anything further, Asahi's features seized with rage and loathing. Look! There they are. So these are the 3 underworlders. Sorry about that. As Asahi pointed at the globe of light created by the farsight crystal, I was quick to follow her outstretched fingers, and there I saw a trio of women, seemingly of similar age to myself and Asahi, marching boldly through the darklings. Whoa, so these are the darklings? It seems like zombie, right? Zombie that can summon some special spells or something like that. The first thing that took me back was the trio of girls was the fact that they were completely unlike the duckling in appearance and manner. While the ducklings lashed out with every evil and animalistic savagery, the 3 underworlders were marching forward with looks of controlled purpose. In fact, they were so different from the wicked hordes around them that at first I was uncertain if Asahi was correct in identifying them as the enemy. But it wasn't long before those doubts were erased. The first thing I noticed was the undergirls marched forwards as the way to each and every underlings that had closed in on immediately deferred to their presence without fail. It's weird. No matter what heinous act or bit of cruelty they were in the midst of committing, the instant the underworlders approached, the ducklings would part like the Red Sea for them. But even more importantly was something that I would have missed if not for farsight crystal, the expression the trio wore. As all 3 of them made their way through the wanting battle and took in the carnage, they did not show any signs of revulsion or horror. Quite the contrary, at least 2 of them were grinding wickedly, looking as if they were out for a stroll in the park, taking in something exceptionally beautiful. In fact, the girl leading the way, she seemed to be panting and mourning, and where her hands were moving. This girl, right? Is it? Smiling. What in the world? Unable to help myself, I averted my eyes. But even as I do so, Asahi nodded sadly, for the underworld of pains and sorrow is the greatest pleasure they could ever experience. Their leader, the one in rage, is Navia. The one with the crossbow is Andrena. And the one like a ghost, her name is Gwenor. Starting somewhat at the naming of these wicked women, I found myself looking through the farsight crystal once more, revulsion tingled with curiosity now. Curiosity to see what kind of person could orchestrate such monstrous brutalities against other people. I've seen many counts of villains and baddies in movies, video games and more, but in the underworld of Burokku, evil took the form of three unbearable, indecently beautiful, feminine fatals that were exotic as they were aliens. Alright, the one with the crossbow. What's her name? Can't remember. Alright, Adriana carried a crossbow like Asahi, and in a very real way was like a dark reflection of a girl that had been forced to entrust herself to me. Alright, so this is the counterpart of Asahi. Her dark clothes seemed to enhance the sensuous figure they clung to, concealing that which was forbidden and making it much more enticing at the same time. But what set her apart from Asahi was a cruelty that strained before her. With every step she took in, every evil human mind could conceive evils that were being visited upon the underworlders without hesitation by the horde. She was delight in it all. Alright, the second lady, now who was summoned on fire, Gwendol, the one Asahi referred to as a ghost, as like a ghost, certainly seems to be dressed for that part, or at least she would have fitted into the role of in some of the games I played in the past. Clad in the white black dress, her body seems to shimmer like it was made of liquid. Is it? It's not shimmering to me though. And her form seems to shifted somewhat as she moved along, her assets joisting and bouncing in a way that would be impossible in any flesh and blood, but seemed impossibly enticing. But what really got my attention about her was when I first got to look at her eyes, I realized that tears were running down her cheeks. And for the moment I found myself hoping that perhaps the underworld were pure evil, but at least one of them regret the atrocious act they were carrying out. Nope, I don't think so. And then I looked down her mouth and saw that she was smiling as well, a smile of childish, giddy elation that bouncery unleashed around her. What was that? De-bouncery? Not sure about that, I'll check it out. And I realized that the tears she cried were those of Joyce. What? Tears of Joyce? That very thought was sickening me. Alright, the last girl looked like a kung fu master from some Chinese show, and I felt my inside threatening to rebel as I focused on Nevaeh. Let's try. Nevaeh should be, who was clad in a crimson and moved with pleasure with each step she took, walking in an almost obscurely provocative manner, pausing to scan the surrounding, issuing a perverse cluck that was blent with grounds of pleasure Nevaeh talked about when a scream of pure terror was heard and saw the source of one of the villagers desperately trying to flee. A wicked smoke on the leaves, several tendrils of her nose hair rose up right before she used her hair to whip a series of fireballs towards the unfortunate villagers. Vam! Alright, she's the one causing the explosion. Each and every one of them found their mark, sending the poor girl tumbling into the ground, screaming in pain, screams that were intensified when a trio of duckling pounced upon the poor woman, ripping apart her clothes and subjecting her to further cruelty. Ripping apart her clothes. What are you doing to her? Nevaeh issued a deep, throaty laugh as she watched the transformed overworlders have their way with their latest victim. Oh no, that's quite sad, right? Don't worry, girl, you'll be screaming in ecstasy soon enough. Not liking the way Nevaeh said those words, I watched as Andrea flashed her own grain before looking at the ducklings and the defeated villagers. Bring us the head of this pitiful village. Alright guys, this is a very long part. I think I will put this the next part, alright? And we will see what happened and how they turn the villagers in the next part of Burokku Girls. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you next part guys. Bye! Whoa. Did you get scared? Well, subscribe to my channel and I promise you, you'll never get scared again. Or watch more videos and you will be able to find your peace in life.